Greetings, 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 superstar seeds. Welcome to the Psychic Mystique, where we shape shifting reality. It's your favorite hood prophet, Lulu the Guru, the Psychic, here to bring you another divinely guided channel message. All right, so man, this message came to me. I got to download. It's 3:43 a.m. I don't know why it just decided to just start recording. It is Sunday, April 27th, 2025. Yeah, these numbers, these mirrored numbers, they keep on reoccurring. I'm actually supposed to do this video live. I feel like maybe God is just telling me to do it this way for right now. I feel like everything happens for a reason now. This message came to me with the help of this movie that I watched from Nicolas Cage called The Humanity Bureau, okay? And this is regarding scarcity, and this is basically a presentation for education in regards to scarcity and economic woes. Okay, so in the movie, okay, this movie was released 2017. Okay, so definitely something about birth, and I was feeling these birthing pains, and everything just came into alignment. Okay, I did a lot of numerology, 2026, and 7 + 1 + 2 is 10. But there's a lot of numerology, and I don't want to get you confused on the numbers unless you're really into numerology. And that way you can just book with me and get more deeper insight on this prophetic message. But in the beginning of the movie, it stated that in the future, after economic collapse or economic catastrophe and climate change, came famine, the Great Migration, which is, if you are not new to this channel, I spoke about my prophecies of the Great Migration, okay? And the civil WAR, society collapse, manufacturing and industrial production of food and goods ceased, okay? And in the movie, it spoke about America building a wall around itself and its city, okay? And we have already experienced that in today's society about, the wall and the border around Mexico, okay? But confirmation, these walls are walls of fear, okay? Because, in actuality, walls are very time consuming and costly. So these walls that are being built around America and the cities that perimeter America are walls of fear. Okay, so before I get more into this message, let's get into this PowerPoint. Hopefully, hopefully you can see it clearly. I'm going to put some more light. I'm going to add some more light to the presentation, so you can fast forward if you need to, so you can see. I just want you to be able to see and read this presentation clearly. I believe that my laptop has charged enough to where I could possibly unplug it, because I really want you to see. Okay, scarcity and economic woes by Lulu the Guru. Oh, it's not on presentation, but it's okay. Okay, we have WAR, famine, disease, and DEATH. Okay. Prophetic prediction. So I predicted my prophetic prediction is between 3 and 5 years. If you seen the numerology, okay, in regards to my prediction, it's going to blow your mind. Okay, it's gonna blow your mind. Remember 3 and 5, right? Okay, so this is going to be affecting global social and financial markets. Okay, the plagues of Moses. Okay, this presentation was created April 27, 2025, and it was 144. Okay, look, it was 1:44 a.m. on Sunday. Okay, the cross of Christ. Okay, in the movie, Nicolas Cage's name was literally Noah Cross, which, Lord, okay? So, um, in the book of Peter, 2 Peter, chapter 3, verses 6 through verse 13, okay, Jewish leaders in Romans committed sin by the unaliving of Christ, false witness, lies, selfishness, and the lust for power. On verse 8 of 2 Peter, it says, with the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. The Lord isn't slow in keeping his promise as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient. Okay, chess. Okay, he is playing chess. Okay, with these people who think that they have gotten away with the unaliving of God's only son. Now, if you think about Mary, if you think about the mother, okay, like the empress, the queen of pentacles type of energy, you know, the mother is more nurturing. The mother is more forgiving. And when you think about Mother Mary and the tears of blood, you know, that she cried, you know, for her son, you know, the father is upset, okay? The father is upset, okay? And these people, these individuals have cursed their lineage, okay? So in 2 Peter, how I interpreted how it was given to me is that with the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years. So it might seem like, you know, 1,000 years to us, but it's the next day for the Lord. You understand? Okay. And this brought me to a side note because it reminded me of a sermon I watched on Instagram Reels of a preacher who described a painting called Checkmate by an artist named Frederick, I'm just going to say R, okay, for the lack of pronunciation. But check out that live that I did called Checkmate, right? And if you would like a copy of this slideshow, let me know in the comments below or hit me up on my email or you can text me. Everything to know is in the description box below. But the painting depicts a man losing a game against the devil himself. The painting was observed by a world-winning chess player. Now, I want y'all to see this world-winning chess player as no ordinary man, because not every man can be a world-winning chess player, right? So the chess player told the tour guide that the man in the painting didn't lose because he still had one more move, okay? And the vanity of the devil will be his downfall, okay? You might trip, but you won't fall, okay? The devil might trip you up, but you won't fall. The vanity of the devil will be his downfall. He has nothing but false hope and illusions of victory. Okay, now here we go. Here we go, y'all. Revelation, scarcity and fear brings chaos. Okay, so during these times, okay, scarcity and fear is what is going to bring upon this chaos. Okay, and God said to me, take and spread the word and let the word become flesh, like in the beginning, right? All right, those who kept their hands clean will be saved in regards to the cross of Christ. Okay. So, I mean, look, Acts. Okay. Boom. Let me not go too far. Okay. Let me not get too ahead of myself. Okay. So both of these same prophecies were given in the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8, and the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. So you could be seeing, let me make sure I got that verse right because it looks, okay, 24, verse 7. I meant to put 7 because it's supposed to say 6 and 7, but 66 could also be significant. Okay, verse 6. Nations will rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. There will be earthquakes in various places and famine. These are the beginning of the birth pains. And it was crazy because my stomach was hurting. Like I felt like I was cramping, or I felt like I was having contractions, which is so crazy that Mark 13 said this. Okay, and if you do the numerology, 8 plus 3 plus 1 is 12. Okay, and these predictions are, like I said, 3 to 5 years from now. But a lot of these predictions are around the next presidency in 2028. Okay, but my prediction is around the year 2029. Okay, which breaks down to the 13th. Okay, which is the sacrifice, the 13th. Okay, the 13th disciple, which is Christ, right? So the confirmation came around 3/13, so March 13, 2029. Okay, between January to March 13th, something like that. But something very high, something very significant about March 13th. Okay, and we're talking about Mark. Okay, the mark. Wow. And this is also giving me the mark of the beast. And look, Mark 13. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm writing this down. I'm channeling, right? And so the Chinese zodiac of the rooster. Now, if you read the full, if you read the full verse of Mark 13, it talks about people not knowing when Christ will return, or when the master will return home, and things of that nature, right? It was speaking in parables. It said something along the lines of the rooster crows at dawn. And so for some reason, I channeled the red rooster crows at dawn. And it sounded like something like military, okay? And when I see Mark 13, 35, okay, this is 35. It talks about the red rooster, right? And believe it or not, the year of the rooster is 2029. As I said, it's 1200 hours, okay? 12 a.m., okay? Wow, it's 12 minutes on the clock. Pisces season, right? That which is what's hidden, that's Christ, right? As they tried to say, Christ in December, and, when he was born, the birthing pains, okay? Oh my goodness. This is, y'all, like, you have to give me a second because my mind is just blown right now, right? So the year of the rooster is 2029. The red rooster crows at dawn. Okay? Now, 1300 hours is 1 p.m. Okay? Which gives me Aries. Okay? Which gives me Aries season, which takes me back to March 13th, right? But also that's Pisces, right? Isn't that Pisces, because Aries doesn't start till the 22nd? But that's 2028, which is between Pisces and Aries season, okay, a WAR leader, okay, 1300 hours, military time, okay. Somebody's going to, put a hit, okay, GUN, okay, okay. Wow, 12, 12, 33, 333, okay, okay. The next whoever is the 2028 president will be Claudius, okay. That is spoken on Acts chapter 11, verse 28. Look at the numerology. Numbers do not. Okay, you hear the training's confirmation. Read the whole chapter. Okay. Okay. Revelations. Okay. In regards to the Middle East, Russia and Ukraine. Now, I thought this was crazy because my middle name is spelled Raine. So there, something about rain, and then his name is Noah Cross. Okay, so something about a major flood, rain. Okay, and I kept hearing that song, even if the sky is falling down, down, down. Okay, and in Revelations, it keeps talking about looking up in the Son of Man. Okay, something is not going to be denied. Okay, yeah, the S, the Son of Man. Okay, no sun. Oh my goodness. Look, it says SON, it, all, L. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Fleeing to Europe because they're spiritual seers. So we see this. A lot of people fleeing to South America because, listen, You know, they want you to fear your spiritual seers, your prophets, and things of that nature. But you know, they know the truth, so their spiritual seers have been forewarning them about what's to come. So that's why a lot of these people who are very wealthy, they're moving out of the U.S. Okay, so Revelation 6 and 5, right? Chapter 6, verse 5, speaks to the third seal, the black horse. And we've been seeing a lot of depictions of horses, okay, in society, okay? Even Megan Thee Stallion just put out a, and you know what? Her horse could have been seen as a white horse, or that you could see it as a pale horse, right? We're going to get into that in the next slide. So there's a black horse, and I kept saying that Dark Horse by Katy Perry, there's no going back. Once you become awakened, there's no going back, okay? There's no going back. And even in the movie, you know, Nicolas Cage told that lady, like, you know, because she didn't know about what was really going on with the Humanity Bureau and what they were really doing to people. Okay, but we'll get into that a little bit further through the slide, right? I feel like God wanted me to protect my energy from monitoring spirits, because I've been getting a lot of psychic and energetic attack and throat chakra attacks, just because this message is meant to be heard, meant to be given, and you know, yeah, you know how Satan roll. So yeah, there's no going back. Okay, you can't go back to sleep, or you'll be put to sleep. Okay. Okay, so this black horse was holding the scale, okay? And this was speaking of in Revelation 6. Okay, let me see. Yeah. You know, third house, that's Gemini energy, inflation. So during Trump's presidency, we're seeing this inflation right now, right? Yeah, Gemini, the sixth house. It makes sense. Okay, verse 6, 2 pounds of wheat for a day wages and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages. So it's like you're not able, like, it's like whatever you get paid for work is not even enough to cover your food costs. Okay? So that's this inflation that's going on. So right now, we are in the third seal, okay, in Revelations. And this is where we are headed. Okay, 6 and 7. Okay, so 6 and we talked about, let me see, 6 and 7. Okay, so yeah. So that goes back to Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. So let's backtrack a little bit. Okay, nations will rise against nation, the kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famine. Okay. And if you read these full chapters, I'm telling you, every verse that I give you, read the full chapter, because it's talking about, you know, why women shouldn't bear children at this time. Look, it's 34 right now, 3 and 4. Okay, 4 and 3. Okay, these numbers are very significant, and 44. Because of the famine and things of that nature, it's going to be very hard for you to really nurse your children and raise your children in these times. Okay? So God is just telling you to wait. Okay, so in Revelation 6 and 7, verse 7, I looked and therefore there was a pale horse. This is right now, okay? But there's you know, there's still Romans 8:28. God wants you to remember, you know, Psalms 91. Okay? It's a rider whose name Death and Hades was followed behind him. They were given the power over the fourth of the earth to KILL by sword. Okay, this is giving a lot of air. Okay, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy, right? We've been seeing the King of Swords a lot here. Okay, famine and plague. Okay, so in the Humanity Bureau, they talk about concentration camps, gas chambers with crematoriums. They were promised a new Eden, a new world, right? Keeping the bad people out. Okay. And so they were taking, you know, the people who basically that were like seen as a burden to society or the system. You know what I'm saying? The one who didn't want to take the mark of the beast. The ones who still had heart. The ones, who still had the words of Christ. Okay, in the movie, the government gave sweeping power to a single agency tasked to assist and divide those citizens who were deemed a burden to the system. Literally, this is in the movie. And in Revelations, the pale horse. I guess that's why Kamala is shouting 2028 presidency. Maybe she's the pale horse. Who knows? Soon the world will know, okay? So this is just something I didn't get rid of yet, but the fifth seal speaks of the souls of those slain because of the word of God. See? And this goes back to the people who were targeted, seen as burdens to the system. And these people are people like you, the ones who uphold the word of God. And God is saying, wait a while longer until the number of your brothers and sisters are killed. 144,000. Judgment is coming upon the inhabitants of the earth. Okay? Look at scales, justice, and Pisces, which is Christ, which is 3. Okay, Gemini. Okay, 3, 7, that's 10. Okay, that's the government. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, I have taken the lead. Okay, but yeah, what was hidden, okay, balance is coming to what has been hidden. Okay, communication. Twins. So let me get more into the movie so things could kind of make a little bit more sense. So, so Canada can also be significant. They did do a border around Canada, a lot of radiation. Okay, so they basically were getting rid of people who like had low income and stuff like that. Put them in different concentration camps. This could be foreigners, people who don't know what's going on. Come to America, it's a better and they're really getting rid of people. Okay, so I wrote down radiation contamination, soil, water supply via the International Maritime Organization, via the World Trade Center, via the International Space Station, via the Worldwide Database Web. Okay, Blue Jays would also be significant. Greenhouse, Never Surrender, 111, 1110, The Truth, 1111, Amazing Grace, Fly Fishing, 1122, Scorpions. Okay, God. Okay, so this gave me. I was thinking about the verse. God gave you dominion over snakes and scorpions. Okay, population control, promise of a better life, gas chambers, like I said, crematorium of men, women, and children. Okay, this could also be, wow, the number 7. That's why I keep seeing the number 7, 7 million people. Okay, and the question is, what side of history are you on? Okay, something about nuclear submarine. Okay, you will need something that measures radiation. Okay, iodine tablets, gas masks, and military supplies. Okay, it's easy. One of the women on this movie said it's easy to build fear than to build a wall. Okay, a revolution is upon us. A revolution is upon us. So stay hungry for the teaching of God. Okay, as it states in Amos chapter 8, verse 11. So I ask you again, my friends, which side of history are you on?